Hey gang, David Gupple, Thinker Farmer here. I'm at the Cajun Village doing some brush clearing work around the parking lot area and such, and I made this little grove area, and I'm more or less clearing things for ambiance, and been so busy. This is basically the tail end of my lunch break, so I'm going to go ahead and do a YouTube video. Pardon the traffic, gang. It's Sorrento area has grown up. So this is something I've wanted to share with the channel for a while. Tried a couple times and had some windy days and accidents with the tripod that didn't work out so well. But concept or the discussion I want to have is on cornerstones of management. When you think of a cornerstone, you think of something that is foundational to anything in order to make things work. And so the topic is, of course, management, which if you know anything about farming, usually, or any business for that matter, any farm business, it usually centers around management. Above management, there would be leadership, and then there's also technical work. Technicians are the people that just get things done. They just perform tasks. Managers oversee how things are done. Leaders decide what is going to be done in the first place, and they provide vision and direction for the organization. You rely on a manager, though, to actually get things done, the nuts and the bolts, the mechanics of what's going to happen. So when I say the cornerstones of management, what I mean is, what are the things that are foundational to management? And in parentheses, I put communication, because management boils down to 3 words. Do what's important. That's management really is about that, knowing your priorities and sticking to them. Communication is foundational to any business, whether we're talking about communication inside a business or outside a business. So that's why communication is in parentheses, because when I say management, communication is not the same thing as management, but communication is probably the most foundational thing to most managers, and it's often the area where most managers slip up, and it's the critical link that makes a good manager great or a poor manager poor. So communication inside and outside. So communication in a manager needs to be going on at multiple levels. He needs to be coordinating within his team, whatever his business team. Maybe it's only him and 2 other people, maybe it's 1 other person, maybe he's alone. There's a saying, the left hand doesn't know what the right hand is doing. A lot of businesses can accidentally get run that way because of poor communication. And so being a structured and organized individual helps with that. And more on that later. But a manager also has to make sure the communication of the business to its customers is being done correctly. So management and communication, the specific communication of a manager has to do with within the business management and communication, and also outside of the business, the face that is being put forth to customers. So I wanted to describe some basic ways a manager can go about getting things done and specifically communicating things. And these are things he will have to do either mentally if he's working alone, if he's going to be effective at managing tasks and projects and business things on a farm or any business for that matter, but they're also going to be very effective and even more important if he's leading up a team or managing a team. So if you've got a group of individuals, let's say, or you're tackling a project, one of the first things you should do is highlight your outcome. I also call this the summarized answer. Some people, if you think in numbers and in money, it's the bottom line. What are we trying to accomplish at the end of the day? Because if we know from the start of the project where we're going, we can actually get somewhere. A lot that is partially leadership, but if the manager simply focuses on how to and he forgets his goal that he's shooting for, he's not going to mentally be working towards it. So first thing you need to do when you're managing a group of individuals and teaching them how to get things done is you've got to highlight or put it in bold, get it in their minds, what is your outcome? What are you trying to accomplish? And the next thing you need to do if you're teaching them how to get things done and whatnot is to elaborate on your answer. So that means you're going to talk through it, you're going to think back over it, you're going to explain it back to the individual. Maybe you'll start out and say, today we're going to be clearing this 3-acre forest. And the goal is to have the trees spaced 30 feet apart. We're trying to grow as much grass as possible. Maybe that's, or whatever your highlighted outcome is. Then you're going to go into a more elaborate answer, and you're going to say, we're going to start on the east side where the trees are thinnest. We're going to work in there. This person's going to be doing this task. This person's going to be on the tractor. This person's going to be operating the chainsaw, etc. You'll elaborate on the answer. You'll talk through it. You may have to show steps to the people that you're working with, and you'll go through that process with them. And that is essentially rolls right into the third thing, which is illustrate it. You can illustrate things verbally, you can illustrate them visually, you can also do things kinetically. Sometimes the best way to teach is put the tool in the person's hands, work alongside them, and they learn by doing, and you teach them as they work. That's what kinetic learning is. Visual learning is you demonstrate it. Some people, especially guys, this is frustrating for women that are managers, and frankly, women generally gravitate more towards management than guys because they have a good understanding of how to, and they just communicate better. Most men don't talk at all. Visual thinking though is how a lot of guys work, and it helps them put things together or take things apart. And so showing somebody how you want it done, if you're from Missouri, the show me state, that visual helps tremendously. So fourth thing, so by now we've told our team this is the outcome, this is what we're trying to accomplish. We've given them an elaborate answer, we've explained how we're going to get there, we've illustrated it. Now we're going to ask questions. We're going to ask our team for feedback. We're going to make sure everybody's aware of everything. We're going to make sure we're aware of everything. And then I want to keep these videos brief and to the point, and this is by no means, this is just part one of Cornerstones of Management, so the next video should be more about it. Number 5 is no loose ends, and this is where I would say most managers, most technicians, and most leaders fall short. And no loose ends means three important things here I want to mention. One, it means that all tasks get done. It means thoroughness is demonstrated on the job. You're not leaving, if it was a mechanic job, you're not leaving bolts that aren't going to be tightened. You're not leaving parts of the project unfinished. You're not starting the project and never finishing it. It means whatever you started, you finished. And this applies not just in getting work done, it also applies in how you leave your tools and equipment. And it's even more important, the second thing here, is when it comes to communication. And that means that communication always happens on time. Usually, if you start your day communicating with your entire team before you even cut the first tree, move the first herd of animals, usually doing all of your communication at the beginning of the day is a hallmark of a good manager. He doesn't wait till the end of the day to do things unless he has a specific reason for waiting. He always starts his day by communicating with all of his team members. And the last thing, this is something most people wouldn't think of, but as a manager, his creative thoughts get written down. What that means is that as you're coming up with better ways to improve, ideas and tools, you're writing your thoughts down. So the next time you come to a similar project, it's not round 1 again, it's round 2, and you're better and better as you move forward. The way to do that is with a day timer. Greg Judy's made a good point of this. You can be as elaborate as you want with record keeping. I use Microsoft Word, and I have for almost pretty much every single job I've ever worked, I have a different document, and I organize it as much or as little as I need to keep tasks in order and keep track of whatever is going on, so that I can quickly look at anywhere from a 1 to 10 page document that's organized with subtitles and bullets and shows me which are the priorities. I've done this now for about 4 years, and it really helps with managing things. So anyway, gang, there you have it. This is the first part 1, Cornerstones of Management. If you learn these cornerstones to management, you can manage anything, farm, life, business, you name it. And with that, gang, blessings for the journey, and keep it real.